guys. Welcome to another version of Winedown Wednesday with Kecia. And today, the wine that I'm drinking is a good old another white wine. Y'all love these little cheap white wines, but this is Sutter Home. Sutter Home is about, I guess, for the large bottle, it was about $10. It's a really sweet wine. It tastes like Kool-Aid. I don't really drink Kool-Aid type wines. Um, there are no pairings with this wine because I guess it's so cheap and it's from the old school, from what I heard in the Boone's Farm
It's
family.
paired. It's paired good with sex. That's what it's
I
paired
guess
good
you
with.
just drink a lot of this, get
And
drunk, and
get
eat
and
chicken
have sex. There
wings,
you go.
and eat chicken wings.
Gonna get you right.
So tonight, guys, we're gonna be talking about how we're surviving and thriving through this Trump era. So I want you to get you a good cool, chill glass of white wine or red wine or whatever you drinking out there, and let's dive into this good topic. So, of course, you guys know Kevin's. This is actually Kevin's topic. He's a water drinker, y'all. He don't drink alcohol. And I'm gonna
Nope.
let Miss Melanie, who's my special guest tonight, who's an expert on the politics and I guess we're gonna have some good conversation about Trump and his policies tonight. So I'm gonna let you all get started. So Miss
Okay.
Mel-
So you gonna it's your topic, so you gonna lead the way or you want me to introduce myself?
Introduce yourself. Go ahead. Introduce yourself. And I'll talk. Go ahead.
Your take on okay.
Yeah. Introduce yourself.
I'm Melanie. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, but I am living in New Orleans now. And I wouldn't say that I'm an expert, but I just love my people and I love, I think knowledge is power. So you have to be knowledgeable on things that will affect us as a whole. So
Yes.
that's it. And I'm a love and light person, so that means I'm reach one, teach one. So it's I don't meet strangers. I love on my people, even if they don't want it. And just it.
I
Trying to
I don't
build
love
them up.
all of
Yeah, I
them.
understand. I feel you. That's a whole nother topic for me. But I'm gonna start with because that's what I lead with. I'm always gonna
All
lead with
right.
that. That's what you
All
lead
right.
with love.
Cause some of the Negroes need some help.
Oh hell yeah, definitely. But you always lead with love
All
until they let
right.
you know they ain't deserving.
I
yeah.
agree with that.
That's
I
it.
agree. Well, the topic today is how we doing. Cause I see a lot of anger out there. There's a lot of mad people. They angry, scared. I'm a school teacher,
Mhm.
so I'm a government employee,
Mhm.
and who knows what they're gonna do with my stuff? Because I teach special ed, but I teach in a
Whoa.
different branch where my program could be canceled anytime. So I'm in a worried state. I'm not gonna lie. We talk
Mhm.
about it all day at work, like what's gonna happen with us because I don't teach in the classroom. I
Okay.
teach. I'm in a program that can't be canceled. Like they say they want to get rid of my program because don't we ain't gonna worry about him. He don't teach that many kids, and so I am worried. Like a lot of other people were like I was watching it the other day, the news the other day, and the lady she had been with the education department for 35 years
Mhm.
and got fired. And she's like, what I'm gonna do now? What can I go? What can I've been with y'all for 35 years? I don't know when my check is coming. Like it's bad. Like it's really bad out here right now. It's really
Yeah.
bad, and I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the important thing that we need to do is take care of ourselves because of course everybody's stress levels are very high and we have high numbers in mental health, guys. Like we
Mhm.
have more people, more African Americans that's been diagnosed with behavior health issues than ever before.
Mhm.
And a lot of that is, I mean, some of it is just passed on trauma, what I want to say, a repetitious cycle of trauma with our people
Yeah.
because just imagine and if we have a lot of young people and a lot of um I'm not gonna call them out. I'm just gonna say a lot of people didn't vote
Mhm.
um in their best
Oh,
interest.
believe me, they go
Mhm.
wish they vote. They wish they,
And
like. Matter of fact, to say that, I have a white coworker who was a Trump. Oh, she Trump.
Mhm.
But now she's actually worried now about her job because we're in the same department.
Uh-huh.
So now she's like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I want to see so bad, baby, was your trumper last year?
Yeah.
But I didn't throw it in the face. I want to see so bad. Was it just a trumper? But now she's
That
worried because
because
she's
they thought it was just going to affect the minorities, the
yeah,
people of
yeah,
color.
yeah.
They thought he was just going to affect the people of color, but the dynamics not understanding. This country is more populated by them. So,
Yes,
and when it breaks down to the fact that the administration, I don't even when we uneducated, the ones who are there. So they're thinking with the propaganda that has always been put that African Americans and people of color are the ones who use the assistance, are the ones who get
oh
the most assistance,
Mhm.
even though
no,
that's not true, but that's what has
not at
always
all.
been put out there. So
That
when
that
they
that,
went
that the poor
in,
black poor black girl in the projects
hmm
on
that's what
all
they
the
put
food
out
stamps.
there.
But the thing is, the country people got way, oh Lord,
Rural,
way
it's
more.
more them.
It's the
It's
rural,
more
Yes.
them.
it's the
Oh my
rural
Lord, it is.
The
areas.
rural, it's more them on it. It's more them on it. But
Yes.
that's why they're getting kicked in their butt, 100%. And for me, it's just like this is what you asked for. You wanted him, and now you're getting ready to deal with that.
Exactly. You done effed around
Found out.
and you done found
Mm-hmm.
out.
And
And that's
everybody's
exactly
worried.
that's the era we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
F
Mm-hmm.
around
Mm-hmm.
and find out. That's where we are right
Mm-hmm.
now. You went and made a decision or you didn't make any decision. And
Right.
whenever somebody tell me anything, I don't throw it in their face, D. But you know what I tell them? Baby, let me tell you, all I'm doing, I tell them what my worry is right now. My biggest worry is getting these damn flies out my wall. That's what
your
my worry
your
is.
house possessed.
My
Your
house
house
is possessed.
possessed.
I'm living in a house of the Damien house. The what is
Gotta cut
it?
that air down, baby. Cut it down. But
Not
see, I hold them to the fire. I'm gonna hold them to
right.
the fire because at the end of the day, for me, I I work in the private sector. So
Okay.
I've been in insurance for 20 years,
All right.
commercial lines. So when it comes down to, but when you have empathy and understanding for other people, it's not just about what's going to affect me, it's about what's going to affect others as well. And that was my mindset for the election and everything. Cause like
Mhm.
I was out there registering people to vote, taking people, driving them to go vote, like
Mhm.
first time voters. But when it comes down to, like you said, being lack of knowledge and not understanding, because one girl, 32, 121, they were like, and the 32-year-old was like, her mother never expressed to her the importance or broke it down or talked to
Shit.
her like
Mhm.
I did. But you
Well, her
also
mama
got to,
is, cause shit, my mama from the beginning, you gotta vote. I vote for everything. So
yeah.
who didn't
Mm-hmm.
But
tell her go
wait,
vote?
but let me say this too, where our system is broken as a black people, not to cut you off, y'all, but
Mm-hmm.
it starts in school. It's the
Uh-huh.
foundation is actually taught in our school systems. When
Mm-hmm.
I went to a school, I'm old, y'all. I went to a school, Maurice Couvon. We used
Mm-hmm.
to sing the national black anthem every morning.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
didn't sing. We used to say the Pledge of Allegiance, but they made sure we knew the Black National Anthem. That was the first song that I taught. I learned about politics listening to like my mom and my
Mm-hmm.
family. They're not college graduates, but they knew
Mm-hmm.
the importance of
Of it.
voting.
Yeah. But then that also comes into the environment and where you're located, where you're getting educated at. Because for me, I went to private school, but in the area, because we know the funding comes from your property taxes,
Mhm.
and that's how that goes. So predominantly low income, they don't get as much funding, they don't get as much education. So even though, the way I feel, I pay my taxes, I ship my daughter, I had to pay for her to go to private school as well, versus
Mhm.
where we lived. And that's a sad state where you can pretty much gauge the education of a child based on their zip code. And that shouldn't be the but it's all by design. Because,
Mhm.
if it was structured a different way and everything was fairly funded, education levels would be and knowledge levels would be more for the people in the lower income communities, which are more so people of color in urban areas. We're not going to say the rural, but we'll say in the urban
in the
areas.
urban area. So,
Yeah.
and then urban areas, as far as the private school sector, it also affects our low income parents because
Mhm.
it's not paid by my tax dollars anymore. The
Mhm.
that a
Mhm.
private school's education is now paid for by the Department of Health, where they issue these vouchers to these
Mhm.
low thriving private schools, and the private schools aren't low thriving.
Mhm.
Like with students, well, with students they are, but not, and they're hungry for money. So they take
Mhm.
these vouchers so they can sustain their schools, which the
Mhm.
schools were better when you didn't have. And I'm not speaking anything against parents that have vouchers for their kids.
Yeah.
It's just that now they've taken another institution where
Mhm.
only black people are, where black people are actually thriving,
Mhm.
overpopulating those classrooms, whereas the kids are not getting the education and attention and the materials and supplies that they would normally get if it was a school that didn't take vouchers, because the schools
Vouchers.
that don't accept those vouchers are actually, their kids are still getting 10 and 12, 50 scholarships to
Mhm.
Harvards and top-notch schools. When you have these schools that have accepted the vouchers, the kids have behaved, because you know what comes with a voucher, because they put these kids in these classrooms that have behavior issues, where, and you know, they don't have special ed teachers in a private school, because all of those kids are supposed to be normal kids.
Uh-huh. And
So
and that's the difference. Louisiana, when you say private, is different than Alabama. So
mhm,
there's no vouchers. You're for private school there normally it's Catholic education. You're actually having to pay to go versus
mhm,
here private is vouchers. So it it just determines on what the plan is for the area, because I was speaking to some educators over in Mississippi, and their district, they had so much funding, so many, but okay, it was some white folks I was talking to, and I'm like, the structure of schools just based on just in proximity where you are, like the way their structure was, I had never heard of it, but it worked perfectly, and they had enough funding for it. So they they teach and fund where they want to teach and fund. Just
yes.
put it that way, because at the end of the day, you uneducated, low income creates the prisoners they want,
Mhm.
creates the workers they want.
Mhm.
That's all of this that we deal with on an everyday basis is by design. It's
Yeah.
not it's not a mistake. You understand, when it comes to property and things that they plan on taking, they're thinking 20, 30 years ahead on that's when it comes down to creating the high crime and or putting it out there it is, so the property value goes down and so they can buy it up and change it out. So I feel like when it comes down to dealing with what we're dealing with in the so I feel like the ones who voted for him, they're stuck, they're losing their minds because they never thought it would affect them. So they're getting what they're getting.
Mhm.
And you have us who didn't vote, or some of them as well, and now they're just realizing that, okay, this is really affecting my life on an everyday basis. And
Mhm.
that's the thing, you're thinking, because people are quick to say, I'm not into politics, I'm not into this, but now this right here is teaching them you don't have to be into it. This
Because
is
it's
finna
into
this is
you.
it's finna touch your money, it's finna
Right.
Yeah.
touch your housing. So what do you do? And for me, just on an everyday, based on the um corporate America that I work in, and I'm like, okay, I'm managing whatever. But when I would look at the fact of, if you're working at fast food or working, and I'm like, how are people even surviving? That would always be my thing. Like, what the hell? Like, how are they even surviving? I can believe they haven't tore it up already, just burnt it down. And it's gonna be them. It's gonna be them. The same ones. I feel the same ones. Them J6ers, those same type are going to be the one that's going to rally up and go after them, because Meemaw is not going to be able to pay for her insulin. You
Exactly.
understand? Meemaw's not going to be able to pay for her insulin. They're going, and when they start cutting on them checks and Medicare, baby, they gonna lose their mind.
Yeah, and I bet they never thought that just that vote for Trump, who would ever, and I hear a lot of people saying, well, I didn't know he was gonna do this. I didn't know he
Yes,
was
you did.
gonna go
He
after
said,
government jobs.
he said,
I
what?
Yes,
didn't
he
know he
He
was
did.
gonna
said it.
cut
He
education.
said it.
He said it
Yeah.
every time he got on a platform. He
He
said
said
it
it.
and it's written.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people this all the time. That plan is on Wikipedia. You know, I told somebody to go and look it up because it was
Mm-hmm.
broken down for them in
Yeah.
each section in
Mm-hmm.
layman terms, and then it went on to explain what it was. You know what they told me? That's just a plan for the Democrats to get you to vote against Donald Trump. Okay, well, I wonder how you're making out right now.
I'll tell you one thing. The Trump administration, when I say they have some of the best marketing,
Yes.
social media, to because they're on top of it with the propaganda and how they put it out there, and consistently it's beating it in someone's mind. They it I know whoever is behind it, they're getting paid buku,
Oh yeah.
because I just because just being on social media, and I sit back and I look at stuff, and it only takes a minute to fact check it, just to go and know that it's a lie, a bold faced lie. But how they beat it, and then they'll put it out there, and then they're going to have bots up under it commenting to reinforce it, like that's an everyday citizen like you. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's giving you somebody that you think you can relate to when that's not even a human being for real. And it's just pushing the lies. And that's how a lot of it, I'm like, some of the things that they believe, I'm like, how? But
How?
when I see how the programming goes, and when you have what they say, the poorly, when it comes down to critical thinking and having just the common sense to look up things, it's not there. It's lacking. People
Yeah.
believe anything nowadays.
And then you have the nerve to walk around and you're crying all over. Because I was on TikTok, there, the lady, she was having a whole mental breakdown because she was, I guess, the day they froze the checks or the food
Mm-hmm.
stamps, she must have had a bill or one. But she was crying about how her children was hungry. How could he do that? You promised you wasn't gonna do this to us. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
to myself, girl, you voted for this shit. You get
Mm-hmm.
exactly what you voted for. And that's my answer.
Yeah.
You getting what you voted for.
They
You
voted for it because of their hate, for their
Right.
disdain of us.
yeah.
Right.
So reap what you sow. You get it. That's I have no sympathy, unfortunately, because living in this country and perpetually understanding what we deal with, what we I said at the understanding and say, this was their island. They never meant for us to be here and be free. They never meant for us to be where we're at working and making money. It was meant
Right.
for us to just be here and serve them. That
Yes.
was that was their whole thing. And the fact that we did have some were decent. So that's why they, had to fight, and because it was just up to us, because just sheer number wise, it wasn't enough of us. But with them and us able to push and fight, that's the only way we were able to get the rights and get the things changed that we were able to do. So they're losing their mind also, because the fact that they're going extinct. I mean, like, if you look at the numbers, this is scientific fact. They're not birthing, they're not having children, they're
Mm-hmm.
not growing. So they're looking like, oh, we're gonna lose, what's supposed to be ours, what we came and stole. Pretty much, we're about to lose what
Yeah.
we came and stole.
What they stole. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're about to come loose. And they're also knowing, if you pay attention to, you got your Gen Zs, your younger, they are more into us understanding and more relatable. They're not as racist as disdain as they were generations ago. So that's why they talk about the golden age that they're trying to take it back to. So when you break it down, because at the end of the day, they know they owe us. They owe us money. That's
Yeah.
it. If because they don't understand nothing but loss of life and loss of finance. That's the
Uh-huh.
only thing they respect. That's it. If you're not
It,
affecting that, they could care less.
they
But
thrive
they
off of
feel
power. They
That's
they
it.
they thrive
They
off of
thrive off of
power.
power and control, but the only thing they will respect is if you can take their money, or if you can take a lot, if you can, you can take some lives, and that'll
Mm,
bring the fear to them. So with them knowing eventually you're going to have people in Congress, Senate, that, because as the generations grow and change, they're going to be relatable and say, hey, we do owe them. We do owe them. And when it comes down to that, they're trying their best to stop that. It can
yeah,
be a couple of generations from here, but they see it. They
yeah,
want to act like they don't play on science and understand. They know. They look at the data. That's why
yeah.
they're doing everything they're doing.
Yeah. So what y'all think about around the conversation on TikTok, where I hear this a lot on different platforms about the segregation piece. Like it is not total segregation, but it's some of trying to bring, well, slowly but surely they're trying to put back in place those Jim Crow laws where we can't go into certain restaurants and eat. But for me, I'm glad. Give us all our shit back. Give me the light bulb. Give me the electricity. Give me the peanuts. Give me the horse surgeries back. You can't do nothing without a black person, even on down to the cell phone that you glorify, baby. We are the creators of it all. So give us all that back, and we gonna go over there on wherever you put us, and we gonna continue to thrive as a people while you sit over there and try to figure it out
I
as a
will say,
white.
I will say this, touching on that subject. Before segregation had stopped, when black people had their own businesses, we were thriving.
Hmm.
But once that was stopped, oh, we left our business alone. We went over to the white people business. So
Hmm.
give us separate but equal. I'll take separate, make it equal, separate but equal, and just let us have our own. But also got to think about it too. Once blacks started getting their own and building their power, white folks came and destroyed it too, though. Every,
Yes.
every time we every
That's
time
it.
we got
Every
power,
time. Every
they
time.
can't. They say, oh, we can't. Oh, these niggas, these uppity niggas.
Yeah.
You can't be too
Mhm.
uppity with the white folks,
And
and they would
it's not
they'll
even
come in.
uppity. It's thriving. They're jealous.
Yes,
They can't stand. They're
Yes.
envious of us. Anything
yes,
that, if we're just off doing our own thing, not paying them any mind, thriving, being happy, they're gonna
yes.
come and destroy it. But that's been proven time and time again. But once again, that goes into the fact they never meant for us to have those things. They never wanted for us
Right.
to have those things. But when it goes down to the segregation piece, the corporations will never let that happen. They make too much money off of us. They
Yes.
will
Hmm.
never allow us to just go spend our own with just us, because
Right.
they're going to lose so much profit. So I see it. He went and did executive order and allowing that the contractors are able to do segregation again. Let me see that happen. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen because the money. And see, that's the thing. Money is power. We spend so much money, but not understanding to come together. But
Yeah.
it's by design. Everything that is negative with us as a people, it's been taught and bought. You understand? It's
Yeah,
like by
exactly.
design. It's meant for this because they know when we come together, and not only just us, but us and other people of color, it's a wrap. Just in this country. But see, you got to pay attention to things, because if you look in Greece, Italy, things of that nature, they have property, land, and towns that people are just dying out, going out, getting old and dying. So they literally are offering people money to come live in those towns, come live in those countries because of that. That's why I say, if you look at the numbers, if you look at the census and things of that nature, just here, they're not populating. But if you look around the world, they're not populating. So that's
Hmm.
why they're losing their shit. Like they know. And that's why the number one, you know, the ones who populate the most, who had the most babies? Just think. Who had the most babies when it comes race wise? Who do you think?
Mexicans now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That's why that's number one.
They
And
popping them out.
look at the numbers. If you look at the census over the years, and you'll see how the population has been going, they are losing their shit about the percentage of in the United States population wise. And that's why they're like, get them the hell up out of here. They have all these children. They go, so they feel,
Mhm.
like I said, they feel what they've came and stolen is getting ready to be taken from them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why if you really look at everything that this administration is doing, it's surreal. You
Mm.
understand? But we have been so desensitized, and things are just normal. But this shit is batshit crazy. Like what they're
Yeah.
doing, it really is.
It's
And
crazy. I don't
it,
think it's gonna last 4 years though. I
oh no,
really
oh no, oh no.
I don't think we would be able to survive this for 4 years because
Oh, we gonna survive.
we gonna survive us as a people because I'm hoping the best thing that could come out of this is that we can come back together as a
Uh-huh.
community
Yeah.
as a people.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
the best
reality.
thing.
Those
That's the
those
best
those ones
thing.
with me, ma, can't get their insulin. They gonna be looking for them a good old brother to talk to and drink a beer with because that's what's going on. You understand? Like their constituents are losing and want to have and is out for blood for them. That's why they're not wanting to do the town halls. They're not even trying to talk to them because they are literally saying like, okay, you guys are up there and letting them do whatever. You're not for us. Like they are lapdogs to Trump. Like nobody's standing up to him because like he's running the government like the mob.
But he's
Right.
But
not
one thing,
actually
but
he's
one thing
not
about
running the government. Elon is
one
running the
thing, one
government.
thing about it, I always said, and see how he's running it is out of fear. Like they fearful. Like, oh, if you don't do this, I'm not going to send the federal funding. If you don't do this, I'm gonna do that. But honestly, one of the first thing and one thing I liked about the Maine governor when she said, "Well, you know what? We'll just stop paying federal taxes." That's right. Because my thing is, when he said that, and I said, I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat, they should have been fire mad because they know every paycheck, federal taxes come out they check. So how are
Mhm.
you going to withhold my money to where I stay? Nowhere in this goddamn world. But you got to understand when it breaks down to it's better to be respected than feared because when you're feared, somebody will take you out. And that's just off of understanding just the streets. I've always told like street, I said, you're best to be respected than feared because they're gonna come together and take you out when you're feared because it's too
Yeah.
much chaos. There's no understanding. But respect is a different level.
Well, how do you think that's kind of like affecting us as African Americans right now, as far as what you're seeing? Because I mean, for me, I see a lot of worry. I see a lot. Well, most of the people that work for government. I mean, New Orleans is 99.9% of nonprofit agencies that function here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and a lot of our agencies depend on Medicaid to service our clients, especially if you're a social worker or you in
Mm-hmm.
social services or you in the healthcare field. Medicaid is $1 billion business that has
Yeah.
kept hospitals and doctors' offices alive. So
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, as for me, what I see amongst just everyday people walking around, it's like a hit on like you have for me, you have your good days and your bad days. It just
Yeah.
depends on where you are in this economy. So if you're on the verge of losing your job, I can understand that you're gonna be a little on the edge, you're gonna be anxious all the time, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have these up and down moments where you may be
Mm-hmm.
depressed, you're not because I mean, when you don't know what's going to happen, that's a natural feeling of the
Mm-hmm.
unknown and uncertainty to be a little anxious and be and overwhelmed about things. That is a totally natural human feeling when you don't know what tomorrow brings. Because if you
Yeah.
have more stability, because people that have government jobs, I've always heard my cousin say, "Baby, let me get off the phone and go do my good government job."
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a thing you tell people.
Everybody
Because
knows that.
if you get on with the government, that's stability. That's a job for
Mm-hmm.
life.
Forever.
Not no more.
That's why I said he came and flipped the script on everybody. But it's about statistics. Federal, VA, majority, ex-military, and it's a lot of us with stable, good paying jobs there. So that's a way to break down that the money, the stability. That's it. and understanding you're going to break down the stability of being able to work and make your own income, and then
Right.
you're also cutting the funding for assistance that people need when they aren't able to make their own income. So it's a plan just to destabilize and cause chaos all the way around, all the way around.
Yes. And chaos is what has been happening. But as I go on these social media platforms and I'm watching different podcasts and things like that, I even hear like younger people, they're very concerned about their financial aid. What is going to happen with my financial aid? Um, Young mothers who kids depend on the aid, like special ed services, like you
Hmm.
were talking about earlier. Like
IEP
they
programs
don't
and
realize
everything.
when they cut benefits, this affects everyone as a
Uh-huh.
whole, not just one particular population. It
Mm-mm.
affects
Everyone.
everyone. Like I may have a relative that need the services of autism. My daughter works for butterflies as a butterfly effects.
Hmm.
So the minute they cut Medicaid, are these people going to continuously have jobs? Or
No.
you think that the parents are going to be able to drop their kids off at these centers so their children
No.
can learn basic social skills so that they can be put in a classroom with other kids?
The reality, all of these departments were already underfunded. They were putting majority of our money into defense versus saturating it to where, because they already had started 10 years ago cutting the programs for children. If you look at different in the different communities, the community centers aren't getting the same funding, and to have the support for the kids when they're getting out of school and being able to go to the rec centers and get tutoring, and just having somewhere safe to be.
Well, the major
They
problem with that is also that the government for the longest have been ran off just the middle class money. The rich don't pay any taxes and the poor don't pay
Mhm.
any taxes.
Mhm.
But it can't keep going just on our backs because
Yeah.
it just so then they tax the damn rich
Yeah.
and that'll make more money. Like really, is they give all these tax breaks to the rich and to these corporations, and it's all on us to fund everything, and that
That's
gotta stop.
that's it right there. They give billions of
Yes,
dollars to subsidies to these multi-billion dollar companies. They give them our money. And what do we
yes,
get in return? Nothing.
a
Higher
job,
prices.
a job to
If
make yeah.
but once again, working for them. And that's why I say it's so much confusion and lack of knowledge, because people keep thinking about our government as if, oh, this is, yeah, we're going to run it like a business. No, the government isn't a business. We give them our money and they work for us. They're
Yeah.
supposed to work for us versus the other way around, because with a business, we go and work for them and they pay us. That's the
Right.
difference. So when it comes down to, like you're saying, the corporations and the subsidies and the top percent not paying their taxes, of course. But we see Trump, and that was last time. That's what he made sure him and his buddies got richer and paid less taxes. So how in the
Yes.
hell did they not think it was going to? But it's so much worse now. It's so much
Mhm.
worse now. But when you look at the mindset of the understanding where they're saying like, things weren't working right, true. 100, it wasn't 100% right, but that's no different anywhere you work or anything you're dealing with. It may not work 100% right. So you find the things that aren't working right and then you fix it, versus the mindset that what they did, that's how they played people. That's why they're like, okay, it's not working right, so we're going to change it. So that's why they're like, hurrah, hurrah, they're changing it. But hey, they're getting rid of everything. 50% of HUD, and just eliminating 50% of the HUD workforce. So that means, and everything else where they're getting rid of workers. That means it's already takes long to be able to get approved, fill things out, things getting processed. That's already at play. That's before they did this. So people
Mhm.
not understanding. You have what, Section 8, but you have Section 811. That's for veterans and disabled people as well. People don't know that. They're just like, oh, it's
Mhm.
just, and I guarantee you, they say, what? They saw urban in there and they thought black people. So they're
Nah.
like, we're gonna cut that. We just gonna cut that in half.
Yes.
Not thinking that who all that helps. Not
Mhm.
only that, and I'm telling them, I said, you do realize HUD also after FEMA, after natural disasters, and FEMA is gone, HUD helps redevelop the area. People didn't know that. So I'm
Mhm.
like, what do you think? I said they half-assed doing it before. And now you're breaking down, taking away the workers. That means less people are going to get helped, and it's going to take more time for them to even get the help.
You know what I
And
found
they're
out
taking
today?
our money.
Which
Since you,
affects the lifespan of the people that are facing disparities already.
Hmm.
It lessens their life. It decreases the lifespan of African Americans, people of
Hmm.
color. I guess they want to say, I'm gonna say they consider degenerates waste.
Yeah.
well, you
Hmm.
do realize that that's why we don't have universal health care, though, right?
Because black people,
Because yes, because when they didn't want the slaves to have universal health
they
care,
don't want us.
so that they thought that we would die off after slavery if we didn't get health care. And
Yeah.
that's why there's universal health. That's the main reason, because they wanted black folks to die off. They said if we didn't have health care, we would die off. So instead of having universal health care, they had said no to it, and that's why
Uh-huh.
that's because they want us to die off. They want us to die off, but we didn't die off.
And we
No.
We
never
thrived.
will. My thing is like I'm like y'all are genetic mutations of us anyway. Like we
Yes,
are
they
first.
are.
You
They don't
understand?
realize that.
We're first. We were here first, and somehow some things got confused. And I said, Lord, we must be up under a hellified spell, generational curses, because the way things are so crooked, and the fact of how it is, I'm just like, it's no damn way. But that's exactly it. We don't have universal health care. We don't have free education. Things because they knew it would empower us. So
but
that's how much disdain and how much hate they have for us.
But think
The
about
fact
it, like my mother, my grandmother, my mother, and my aunties.
that
Education was cheaper back then. They had a lot of
exactly.
grants. They
Hmm.
had a lot of, but they realized a lot of black people was getting education, so they
And they
stopped.
changed it.
Yeah,
They
there was a lot.
anytime it
Like
benefits us, they change it.
my auntie graduated with no debt, but now
Hmm.
shit, go to school for a year, you got debt. So, but there was
Not even a
grants, there
year.
was all kind of stuff to get the education back then, but now they took all that away.
Yes.
I always used to call this country the United States Corporation of America. You understand? Because this is it's under the illusion that okay, it's not free labor. So they said, okay, we're going to throw in some coins, right? But they still underpay us. They don't give us. And I'll tell you one thing I found out. This is about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I was working and doing a little research about something, and I found out that we are the only supposed to be developed country that doesn't have it in the law, like all these other developed countries have in the law, the paid vacation, the parental leave, all the sick leave, because every corporation in the United States, if they choose not to give it to us, they don't have to give it to
No.
us. But if you talk to, and I think that was another thing, they're getting uppity, they talking to all these people all over the country and finding out about this now, but like over 10 years ago, when it was a Harvard research paper where they went down and showed all the different countries that have all these things that legally they have to give their citizens. You understand? But the
Mhm.
United States, none of the things that we get, it's not legal. They don't have to give it to us, and they don't even give us near how much they want to give us. And it's
Right.
also goes down to the fact of having us self fighting. Because me, I work in corporate America, so I'm already making on an upper scale of amount of money. So they know if they bring minimum wage up for the people, they have to bring up our salaries. When you're making that upper money, they and that's why they won't bring up minimum wage. It's no way in this world in 2025 that minimum wage should be what, 750, 725.
Is it?
How?
I thought it was $9.
No.
I'm wrong.
No.
Federal? No.
Oh, 725. Lord, y'all know I don't know. I
It's
haven't
either
made minimum
750 or
wage.
725. But that's what I'm saying. They know if they bring that up federally, if that's legally the standard across the board, they know they have to pay us who work in, higher income pay. And it's always about profit, because these corporations are never taking a loss. They're just making less profit. There's a difference.
Hmm.
You understand? It's not a loss. It's just less profit. So that's what we deal with. Because we keep saying inflation. I'm like, this is just corporate greed we're dealing with. If
Right.
you look at the numbers, that's I say the data. You pay attention to the numbers, pay attention to the money. You're gonna see how things have just, especially since the pandemic. You understand how much certain corporations, and that was another damn thing when they sat back there and was giving these multi-billion-dollar companies PPP loans and then forgave
Uh-huh.
them. And that was
Hmm.
our money. Once
Yeah.
again, it's our money that they're constantly giving away, but not benefiting us. When we're driving around on freeways with potholes, no lights, you know, the education's messed up. It's like things that's supposed to go into the infrastructure and for the programs for us as a whole, it's our money. You
But
know,
wait,
it's
they found money for the damn Super Bowl though, because baby, when I tell you, it was so clean and beautiful. I've never seen a French Quarter so clean before in my life. The beautiful lights all on the bridge, no homeless people. For the first time, maybe for that whole week, I didn't get to smell urine and
yeah.
and see people talking to themselves and fighting with each other with their three people that they got in their
Uh-huh.
imaginary
But
world on
but you
my
see what
little.
they did and how much it cost, right?
Yes.
You see how much money they took, millions of dollars that they paid one of Landry's homeboys to move them into that warehouse, the
Mm.
homeless. They moved them literally the amount of the millions of dollars that they paid them for what? Up for 3 months? Could have
Hmm.
housed them. Each
Yes.
homeless person in their own apartments for 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
So it's always the money play. And I'm gonna tell you, with me just living here for the amount of years, I was like, oh, corruption at its best. This is one of those cities, where the money just disappears.
Oh yes.
It's
Yes.
it's one of those,
New
like,
Orleans has always been one of those cities, but the
yeah.
thing of it is, we didn't have it's always been lousy. I
Mhm,
mean, my uncle calls this Louisiana period. He said he would never come back here and rest his soul. He said he would
mhm,
never come back here and live as long as he was living, and he never did. So this has
mhm.
always been a city where the money just happened to just always disappear
It's
for the most
gone.
important thing. It's gone. I work in the CBD area. Even when I wasn't working up there, I can see the homeless people out there. It's
Mhm,
regular citizens that are taking money out of their pockets, their housing budgets to cook food and go feed these people.
when
When they
it's
put
money.
when they have the money to do these things, like you have money to take elaborate trips,
Mhm,
you flying
mhm.
on private jets. You had money to look in DC. They had money to go tear up a whole street. Black Lives Matter. You got a money to go tear up a whole damn street. And we all know we done been to DC and we done seen the amount of homeless people because the homeless
Uh-huh.
epidemic is at its all time height. And the little
Mhm.
money that they give these agencies to house 23 people here, 7 people there, 12 people here, like, and these people, they're really not getting the services that they need
Yeah.
when they do it, because it's a housing first program. So what they decided to do, I'm gonna take this amount of money, y'all just get them off the street, put them in a house. They don't have to do nothing. They don't have to get
Mhm.
no mental health services. They don't have to go to rehab. Just put them in a house. I don't care if they still got a trap house going on. You take them out of that house, they're gonna house that person 1,000 times, which is nothing wrong with putting people shelter over our
Well,
people.
come pay my mortgage, goddamn it! come,
They don't get, oh,
come
you
pay a
ain't
nigga
getting that, baby. You
mortgage.
not getting that.
come,
I called
come
the
hit this
National
mortgage up
Mortgage
a few
Assistance.
times. Lord,
Some,
please
but see,
come.
you got to realize some countries is caps on how much they actually are using the money like they're supposed to. That goes back to, I say, United States Corporation of America. You
Come hit
understand?
this mortgage up.
It's about profit for them.
But think
And,
about it, really. After slavery,
mhm.
we're still on the ex-slave plan. This is what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah.
After slavery, they had, how can we make them slaves again? They realized that if you gave them credit to buy stuff out your store,
Mhm,
they would have to work to pay that off. So all we
mhm.
doing now is a bigger scale. You get
Mhm.
stuff that you gotta pay for. You go to work to pay for it. You're paying more than it's actually worth, and you gotta keep paying. You gotta keep working. You gotta keep paying, and we're stuck in that cycle of
Yeah.
slavery. We're working to pay bills. That's all
Mhm.
we do. We
Mhm.
work to pay bills.
Mhm. And they make and they're making their profit because
Yes.
you got to think about it. United States is a what would we say, a junior country. It's not a old country. This is a younger country,
Right. True. True.
but it is one of the most profitable countries because of slavery, because of all the free
Mm-hmm.
labor that they played
Mm-hmm.
into. And when you look at us as a people, where they tell us how we're lazy and every always want to hand out, but they don't want to talk about their generational wealth comes from this country giving them land.
Yes.
Ask
Yeah.
them about the
Yes.
Homestead Act. Ask them about how much land that they got for free. Their ancestors, their grandpa, or great granddaddy, whoever got that land and that built
Land getting held handed down to for
hun-
generations. We we
hundreds of
we
acres,
we we we
hundreds
we,
of
we, we,
acres.
we we barely got a little regular house in a railroad that
Uh huh.
getting left and
Hmm.
all that. But
And
they
that's one
have
thing they don't, and what, land is wealth, because that's something that's not
yes,
growing, that's can't, you understand,
Hmm.
that's nothing that can be remade, that's
right.
something, and
That never
it was
depreciates at
yes,
all.
and they never, but when you go back to the mental health thing, to um us still living under the standards of slavery, I always say we're living here and don't understand that from day one, we're always still living in war. We're in a
Mhm.
war factor and not understanding that. And when you go to the mental health and the trauma that comes with that, you have to look at, I can say about 12 years ago, I know in Alabama, because was working professional liability, dealing with doctors, insuring doctors and dentists. They made a change where they got rid of all of the mental health facilities. Like all of a sudden, like, so we started getting all these calls from the psychiatrists, the psychologist, like, okay, like, do we still need to keep our insurance? They did this, they're getting rid of this, that, all of that. But that was a play to get more bodies into prison,
Yes,
to
yes,
get the
Mhm.
free money, because
yes,
the a large majority of people who are in prison, they need mental health help versus
yes,
being in
yes,
that. But they know that's how they make money. Our governor, like when it comes down to the private prisons, literally they build contracts, and I'm sure they do it here as well. But they set up a contract with the private prisons who come build the prisons there, a guaranteed amount of people that they're going to
yes,
fill. And if
yes,
they do not fill it, they have to pay them. They have to pay
Mhm.
them. So they
Mhm.
make sure they're going to have people to fill those prisons.
yes,
You
Yeah.
know, and that's standard across the board. And that looks into factor when you go to the school to prison pipeline.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
You understand? And I was watching it, and I'm going to find that clip. It's a senator in Louisiana. He's a senator, a House representative, but he literally was talking about when they were, because of course we got to talk about those amendments that they're pushing through. When they were talking
Mhm.
about changing the things where they want to send the children to adult prison,
Mhm.
and he literally said, by the age of 2, they're already lost.
Mhm.
So that gives me no more than the understanding of how they used to cut our babies out of our stomach and kill them. No value, no thought of our babies. How can you say a 2-year-old is already gone? Two?
Yeah, too, but it goes back to me when this is when the plan started to play out in I want to say in Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
because first of all, you take the children's hospital,
Mm-hmm.
the children's mental health hospital, that was
Mm-hmm.
one of the best facilities they had in the state,
Mm-hmm.
at children's hospital. You shut that down. Whereas if a child, because they were really good, that's somewhere that you could, a parent really could go to get their child that had mental
Help it,
health issues
help they
help.
need it.
Help.
Mm-hmm.
Then after they take that away, Then now you actually start moving towards having police officers in the school system.
Mm-hmm.
So we move towards that. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we know they're going to act out. So we know these behaviors are going to be uncontrollable because for number one, the parent, she not getting the help that she needs for this child. And
Mm-hmm.
not because she lazy or anything, it's just that she doesn't know her resources because
Mm-hmm.
she has limited understanding of what's going
Mm-hmm.
on with her child because she may need behavior health services
For
herself.
Yeah,
herself, yes. A lot of
a,
times
a
it's
lot,
hereditary.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of the problem is that we have these mothers, sort of these mothers who shouldn't even have kids, having
Uh-huh.
kids,
Mm-hmm.
and that's part of the problem too. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, it is. I mean, it's by design. It's by design. And what you said about them closing the facilities for the health and everything, and I can tell you, and for understanding of knowing if the governors, the mayors, or whatever, if they choose to put the money where it's supposed to go, it will be helpful. Because I was a teenager when I was living in New York. So this means this is in the early 90s. They had a facility called The Door. That place was for any child within a certain age. They they had a doctor's office in there, clinic, like walk in. You could get your, if a girl could get Pap smear, all that stuff, your immediate health. They had GED classes there. They fed you. They took you on trips. Now this is in the 90s. Not only
mhm.
that, and they made sure that they paid, like you didn't have to pay when to get on the train. They would walk you free passes to go home. So my thing is, when I say about how they don't have the community centers open in the lower income communities and things of that nature, because they know programs like that, places like that, make a difference. It makes a hell of a difference, because even on the weekends they would take you on trips. So it was places that you could go after school, or if you didn't even go to school, but you could go there. You're going to have counselors and mentors that they're teaching you something. That you have the availability, just if you just need to go and sit in there, just to have a safe place, sit there and read a book or whatever. And that was in the 90s. So that lets you know, if the funding's there, they can create it and it will make a difference in the lower income communities. But
Well, I think
and I think
in the early the '90s, they were still taxing the rich somewhat.
uh-huh.
After Reagan
Mm-hmm.
kind of started that, letting the rich, before all that, they had more tax money coming in. The problem still is
Mm-hmm.
tax money.
Yeah.
When they stopped taxing the rich, they had to cut something. So they started
But
cutting every other programs to get the rich their tax breaks.
I get what you're saying, but the money that we already have, they're not putting
Mhm.
it properly where it
Oh
needs to
no!
go as
No, they're
well.
not.
They're not doing it. And we would
Definitely.
have more. We would
And
have
that
more if they taxed them exactly. But the fact is, but we look at them, even if it's more, because like they say, they're cutting all these programs and departments. Where the hell they putting the money? Where's the money going?
in their
Have they
pocket,
told us
To the
once?
to
Have
the
they told
pocket
us once where
and
they
to the
putting that
rich.
money at? So
The
that
in their
lets
rich,
you
pocket.
know, even if they have more money, they still gonna take it. They're not gonna put
right?
it where it needs to go.
And
They're
that's
not
why
doing
we
it, and
need to
nobody's
do
holding them accountable.
Because
at
they don't
all.
care.
But you have to vote. And that's your way of holding them accountable when you cast the vote.
Get the
That's why
right
it's
the
so
right ones in
important.
there.
Yeah,
Right.
but
And the
it's
problem with
so
that is
important that
also,
we vote right. And I want to talk about because we don't have that much time. That's
Okay.
why it's so important for us to vote right on
Uh-huh.
Saturday. The
No.
vote,
Every
I
last
mean,
one.
yeah, every
Straight
now
last
down the
one of
now
board.
them.
now
No, 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 no.
what I don't like, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still voting no. They tied the teachers raised the Second Amendment. They tied our raise to that. I'm like, you motherfuckers. They tied our raise to that Second Amendment, a teachers raise. So I still got to vote no because it's still messing up down the
Yeah.
line. But still, they tied our raise to that. I'm like, you goddamn bastards. They go stick teacher raise, get a teacher's a raise. Like, nah, it's not a raise. But when you really look at the whole full thing, they're trying to mess up our pension.
Uh-huh.
So they try to mess with our pension, the teacher's pension, but say, oh, we give y'all raise, but y'all messing with our pension at the same time. So it's still like y'all still messing over us because y'all
That's
still,
just a play. That's just a play,
yeah.
because after they pushed it through, they was gonna change something for they wouldn't have to give it to you. I
Mm, when
guarantee you.
they trying to get into our pension because it's the best pension. They trying to get their hands into our money to do whatever they want to do with it. So yeah, so vote no, even to my raise, but
Vote no, period. Don't think
vote
about it. Vote
no.
no. And y'all want to tell them what they voting no for? What
The
would have?
sending young kids to jail because they want to
Mm-hmm.
send the young kids to jail. They want to get rid of the homestead exemption. What else for the second one? There's a lot of things for the second one they're trying to do, and then get their hand in our pension, but give us a little bullshit ass raise probably with that. What the first one was? The first one. Hold on, I can pull it all up. Hold on.
See, that's what I'm trying to do now. Pull it up because
Post them on yourself.
don't want to give any
Matter of fact,
misinformation.
I got bring up why I wanted to bring up the facts about the anger thing. We
Mm-hmm.
on the dominoes. We don't open up one of the windows because it's on dom. We want to open up one window. So a young lady stopped at the window that we don't open up. So one of my employees tapped on the window, like telling her, go around.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm outside doing some work at the store, and I heard a woman, why she tapping on the goddamn window? And I just getting angry, like we tapped on our own damn window, like just till you go around, like what the hell is
Mm-hmm.
wrong with you? Mad as hell because we tapped on the window. She goes around goes around and posts the cups in the store just to fuss and curse at him. Like, baby, what's wrong with you? Like, you really did all of that to come and say, fuck y'all dumb bitches, and got back in our car. Like, why? Because we tapped on our own damn window till you go around. Like, that's what made, like, why everybody so angry? And I'm talking about when you're driving, oh my Lord, don't get in front of somebody. They want to go around looking. It's just, everybody's angry right now.
Everybody angry
Mm-hmm.
and in a rush. And you know why? Because they didn't vote. They
Mm-hmm.
scared. And now they want to blame everybody. Oh, you working, so you the enemy. You got more than me, you the enemy. You got this, you the enemy. Or you own this, you a black man, or you think you too much. You the enemy. So you the enemy right now because but they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and I don't feel no empathy or sympathy
Mm-hmm.
for nobody. If your food stands getting cut, okay, oh well, you gonna get one of them good old black jobs out there picking cotton because they do have cotton fields in Louisiana still.
And not just all across the South, they everywhere.
Yeah.
But the ACLU stated that Amendment 1 is a special can't lose for courts, for politicians and their friends. That's Amendment 1.
Mhm.
Number 2, it says tax code bait and switch with misleading and deceptive language that guts education and transportation funding. Number 3 puts kids in adult prison for less serious offenses because they already have that in the Constitution that for certain, I think it says 16 offenses where those younger kids can go to adult prison. What
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to do is change it so less offenses like little a cell phone getting stolen. You understand those
And the
type of
problem,
things?
and the problem with that is only we
Yeah,
get the harsh
hard
treatment.
get the hard treatment
Yes, we do.
anyway.
Yes,
Anyway.
only we get the harsh treatment while they get, like my cousin works at the juvenile courts. He said,
Hmm.
what do white folks go? Because there's no white kids coming to the juvenile court. So
Exactly.
so what are
They give
white
them
kids doing?
probation. They send them home and
Yes,
and, and wipe their slates clean after,
there-
and it just
there's
expunge
no
it.
white kids. He said, bruh, there's no white kids coming through. He been there for years. He's like, there's no
That's
white,
sad.
like what
It's
are white
sad.
kids at? Like what court? He asked the judge, what court do they go to?
They go to circuit court. They
And
go to
or they don't
circuit
go.
court. Or they don't go, or the attorneys get them off on a
Oh,
crime.
without having to go.
Yeah.
And Amendment 4, it says it lets them cherry pick judges in low turnout elections. So that was another thing that they're trying to change the fact that how we vote and pick who the judges come. They're going to be able they can pick who they put in. So it'll be more racist judges that are going to throw the book at us and let them go home.
Exactly, which
With
was
no
also in Project 25. That was on
exactly.
Wikipedia that they can appoint who they want to appoint to
Hmm.
local government offices, and each state could do whatever they want, however they feel.
Hmm.
And your governor and your senator or whoever is representing you as a people, they don't care about what you're saying.
But our governor ain't
Basically,
shit. I just
Basically,
land.
we going
He's
back to
he on
handmade
his knees for
still.
Trump.
Yeah,
Landry is on his knees.
he
He's on
ain't
his
shit.
knees for Trump. He's on
And he
his knees for
and
Trump
he
and the Attorney General.
and he racist. He like a
Oh,
good old boy. Oh my
oh
lord, he's
yeah.
oh
The
Lord Jesus Christ.
KKK sitting there.
Well, they have
Sit-
the MAGA. Well, the MAGA flag is hanging up at the Capitol. I just want
But
to let
you
y'all
know,
know
because
that.
he stay on his knees for Trump. He stay on his knees for Trump. And Trump stay on his knees for Elon.
Yes,
That's how it
literally,
goes. Because didn't you
literally.
just see it was him standing next to Trump when they were, I think they were doing the thing about the new steel mill supposed to come here from Hyundai or whatever, the
Yeah.
steel plant or whatever.
Not,
But
not
he
and
was
not the
standing.
country. The thing is
Uh-huh.
what that is too is all these tax cuts for the steel mill to come, but still we're getting more jobs. Because what about there's no taxes for them, so they're making all this money with no taxes,
Mm-hmm.
and once again,
Uh-huh.
the tax still on our backs. Like
On
it
us.
can't
It's
keep
on
going
us.
that way. Like
And imagine how many billions, millions they're gonna get for doing what they're doing here. You know it
yes,
had to be some subsidies
yes,
from our taxes, our tax money.
yes.
And we can go into how the play of the states like Louisiana, the low education, the low income, and get a lot of their money from these blue states. All these red states get a lot of their funding, additional funding with federal, where they're getting ready to take away anyway. Where they're saying take it back to the states, let the states do it.
Hmm.
And we know where that goes. No oversight in
Right.
education. No
And and,
oversight in making sure
and
things.
that's why the state want this. State like, oh yeah, give us all the money, give us the money because they can do what they want to do with it. It's
But see, that's
yeah,
the thing. They're not even finna be getting the money.
That yeah, and especially if they don't do what Trump said do, they're not
That's the
getting the money.
play. That's
So if
the
you go
play.
against Trump, you're not your state getting
And,
absolutely no
see how
money.
much they gonna get. Even when they do give it to them, you're still not getting what was already structured for you to get it any damn way. You know, the House reps set the budget that's already supposed to be distributed. So it's corruption at its best, at its worst, I'll say, because it ain't its goddamn
but the thing
best.
is,
Because
it's
they don't even know how to hide it.
they don't care, they don't try. It's
They
in
don't
your
try to
face.
hide it.
It's in your face. It's just like this is what we're
Baby,
doing.
Landry has absolutely no decorum whatsoever. He will chew tobacco, spit, talk, he'll hickey talk.
Yeah,
He just doesn't give a damn about nothing. I mean, but
right
that's
off
just
the farm.
that's his demeanor, and it is what it is. And I mean, again, that's what you voted for,
Good old boys, or
and that's
didn't
what you
vote
got.
because what they say, because like y'all have elections on Saturdays, like us in Alabama, they're always on Tuesdays. So it's major differences because I've heard they said when Landry got in, everybody was gone to the football game, didn't go out to vote, and that's how Landry got in.
Yeah,
Shit, I
probably
voted.
so.
I
Yeah,
voted.
I
Shit.
voted. I make sure
That's right.
everybody
We
in
do
here.
our part, but it just everybody it's the lack of understanding of thinking it doesn't matter. You
We we,
know,
we, we didn't have
propaganda.
a vote second line. They come to that. Have a vote second
Yeah,
line. They
they
come for a
will
vote
do
second
that.
line.
They'll
Y'all
do that.
saw how many people were at that. Now both of y'all were at the thing I did, and when Oliver Thomas spoke, y'all saw
Yeah.
how many people they had there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was interested in what any of them had to say as far as the upcoming
Mm-hmm.
election.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it just amazes me,
Lack
how
of knowledge, lack of understanding, and it's by design.
yes. So y'all, we gonna wrap it up tonight. Thank you guys thank you, Melanie, so much for coming on
Thank
and
you for
enlightening
having
us
me.
with your presence. Very intelligent, very
Thank you.
uh,
Thank you.
well informed lady. Um, Again, the wine of the day was Sutter
Shut our
Home.
home.
If
What
you,
flavor?
it was pink Moscato. If you're into
Okay.
sweet drinks, Demetrius, that was just for you, baby. Um, Baby kept his leave my damn flies alone, goddamn it, y'all. So y'all, he cut me off because I have something happened in I had a sewage backup or something. I have an infestation of damn flies and gnats. Baby, they're taking over in my house. So I can't. My house is not mine anymore. I live in a house of the omen. It has been possessed. I want to know how to get the curse off my house. But anyway,
Get you some
again,
Palo Santo for some camphor.
I got all kind of stuff running through here. I got the spray, I got stuff, and I'm fanning and fighting while I'm on here. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning
Thank
in
you for
and supporting my podcast. You can catch me on YouTube at K Reed to B and on Facebook and IG at KPR Productions LLC. And of course, you know, we have an event coming up on April the 11th. We're going to have a mixer for like business like-minded people to come out, wear your casual office attire, looking grown and sexy. That is the attire for April the 11th. And of course, I said we were going to do a couple of more events. So in the same spot, we're going to be doing a speed dating, which will be May 16th. So we'll be getting everyone who's single who comes out to this current event. We're going to get your names and stuff and invite you to the speed dating.
April what?
nice.
April what?
April the 11th.
I know that one. The other one, the speed dating one.
So the
That's
speed
bad.
dating is May the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Friday. And then sometime in June, I'll let
And
you guys know.
don't have all your old ass friends too. Get some young girls out there.
If you bring the young girls, that's how they're gonna get there, baby. So just bring. I need the fellas to come out for this speed dating event. So if you single and you looking to meet a nice lady to make her yours, maybe you can bring her. Y'all can become a couple, and you can bring her to our couple sipping paint. And that's gonna be sometime in June. I'll give you guys the date on that up and coming event. And once a month, Winedown Wednesday will be presenting different events, guys. We're going to eventually do a wine tasting. I just need to find a location where this is going to happen. And once again, thank y'all for tuning in. And y'all have a good night. Time to relax. Thank you for tuning in.
Y'all be safe.
Peace
All right.
out.
See y'all.
Go SWAT.